Deadpool, Wolverine, Cable, Spider-Man, and Kitana versus Ares, Wolverine, Cable, Spider-Man, Coldwind. This game is called Stronghold. The objective of the team not on the elevated terrain is to destroy or evict all opposing characters from the elevated terrain on this map. The two teams will now roll for initiative. The ground team has a total of 6. Team Ares. The elevated team rolls 11. The Ares sculpt is a proxy for the heroclix piece Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf is described upon the character card that refers to Steppenwolf's powers. It is suggested that Steppenwolf exhibits or may use an ability that requires a starting area. Both teams will now furtively select a starting area. That is a square occupied by one of their characters on the map. When Steppenwolf is closer to the opposing starting square than its own, Steppenwolf's power will activate. The Mahjonian-colored peg squared on the map represents the de-elevated team, the attacking team's starting area. The Mahjonian-colored fabric imbibed or imbued metal raddled craft stem pegged squared represents Ares' team's starting area square. This is now checking the zones for all the characters on this team. The worthy adamantium mighty spikes, or the mighty Wolverine, has found Cable, Kitana, and Spider-Man in zone 31. The power of stealth, this has decided, unless the power is described as or associated with being a representation of the character from the volatile reality entertainment information narrative from which the effigy or vestige of Greek fireflayed polymer, that is the heroclix piece item that is this is referring to, is that of psychic powers or invisibility. That stealth will be rolled at the beginning of the turn, and neither Cable is telepathic in a similar way to Jean Grey and Professor Xavier, though this gets the impression that on the card it says sneaking or something that indicates these are soldier skills, and therefore this shall be rolled. Upon serendipitous reevaluation, this is decided that Cable should be able to roll his stealth whenever Cable chooses to, and therefore will wait. Though Wolverine, this suspects though Wolverine is magical, the stealth is not necessarily magical. And Wolverine will roll at the beginning of the turn. Wolverine have move and attack? No, only stealth. Wolverine fails stealth. Spider-Man will now attempt to make a move. Spider-Man is picking up this object at the beginning of its hypersonic, modified by -3 as a result of the description, to be compensatory to the description upon this particular Spider-Man's cards. This particular Spider-Man's card, that Saxon genitive S, is going to hypersonic 4 out of the 7 available, and will now use the power Spider Tracers, which allows this person to use Incapacitate with a range of 6. As a result of using hypersonic, the range is cut in half to 3. The opposing doppelganger, Pokemon 2000 Spider-Man, is just in range, though likely as a result of designing to be used in the context of a heroclix game that is not modified as this person has. The power describes the effect of the Spider Tracers as the opposing characters hit by this Incapacitate will presumably be subject to Incapacitate, as well as that lines of fire drawn to them are only blocked from friendly characters by walls and indoor blocking terrain. Though that's likely as a result that they know you can always see characters in this game. There's no way to obstruct, or rather there wasn't a way to obstruct line of fire to characters. other than to impose that they cannot hit them. But now, since you don't necessarily know where your opponents are, this is changing that to say that now they have to show themselves to whoever hit them. These characters will remain visible on the map until, as the power says, the effects of the spider tracers will only end if Spider-Man is destroyed or represented as slain or defeated, hence remaining on the map. As this is what this infers they are referring to when they say, as long as Spider-Man is on the map, until someone murderizes him. This is now attempting to use spider tracers. This one I use is 11 attack. That's super strength. 7. 11, that's 18. It hits your... Spider-Man has a... Cable has a... Not that. He does not have that attack power right now. Spider-Man has shape change. Waiting for the shape change, does not get his shape change. And now Spider-Man has a trait super senses that activates when he is targeted by ranged attacks that succeeds on a 4 through 6. The AVX Spider-Man, not the other... Which Spider-Man is that? Web of Spider-Man? Probably not. No. Spider-Man fails that, and Spider-Man is incapacitated. They would assign an action token to themselves, since this is the duplicitous one who plays both sides of the field. Great Arnold Benedict's broken leg! Aha! You've been incapacitated! Oh, dear goodness. I'm sorry you had to hear that. And that Spider-Man will remain visible on our team's map for the rest of the game. Whenever you would then report to them, whenever their team makes a move with Spider-Man, they must reveal to you where that move was too. They could bring a spare map over to you and place the miniature tokens upon it, and then, or you could take a spare map to them. Somebody has to use a spare map, likely, if you're on a team with other characters that are not being tracked or that you're not aware of. Standard Jesus Stealth Board Mini business. To complete that hypersonic, out of the 7, this has 3 remaining. This used 4, this has 3 remaining. This will now retreat with Spider-Man to the safety of the suburbs of Greater Encino, into the hindering, in case somebody is to try and running shot. It also says to mark the opposing character. This could recollect which character is traced, though for the purposes of prestidigitation or flamboyant showmanship, I'm going to use this coin. This found idly. This is it's in Spanish. This is a peso. A peso. Circa 2008. This is going to be used as the spider train. That's what happens when you try to mega with pesos. Deadpool is the one that is visible in Zone 31, and not in Zone 32, and not Spider-Man. Spider-Man will make that hypersonic. Will pick up this light object, and will hypersonic 3, 4 here, and we'll attempt to use spider tracers on Kitana. 308. 308. How did Batman toss Superman approximately 3.08 meters across a low lit establishment that likely purveys the champagne? That's 7. 7. That might be the same. 18. And that is 17. That hits is 1 over. You get incapacitate. The robot and mummy wrap strap kundalini anacaris kartushka maker car esophagus maker keyhole anacaris and 2 pesos. Buy yourself something nice in Mexico. Spider-Man there is in Zone 33. Neglected that. Spider-Man has moved 4 and has 3 movement remaining. Will finish that and here. That is yours, and keep you there. At this point, instead of Spider-Man, Kitana will be the one who is tracked. The same rules will apply to Kitana. We're watching you. Omaira. What? Omaira dai shindairu. That doesn't make sense. Cold Cast will sidestep. Here. Right. Sidestep there, and we'll now use telekinesis to move Cable from there and to make that movement there to here. Now being able to see zone 32 and 33. Cable doesn't seem to find anyone new, and therefore, where on earth is Wolverine? Whatever did happen to Robot Jones? Making a ranged combat attack on Spider-Man, he has all this power, the ability to avoid being hit. Therefore, and he's weak from range. His defense is low at range, much lower compared to when being hit with a close combat attack, which as a result is suspected by the allocation of heroclix, the theoretical currency for heroclix power and ability value allocation, that likely hitting him from range it would be better to place his ranged combat points or attack values. The +2 from ranged combat attack shall be applied to his damage instead of his attack. 11 on his 17, he has shape change. He does not get it. But his super senses, that would have succeeded on a 4. The super senses does not happen yet. I have to attack him first. And the attack 7. 7 plus 11 is 18. That does hit your 17. And now rolling the super senses. He gets it. He has evaded the attack. Cable gets that. Spider-Man has been missed, has not been hit. And now Cable will roll stealth. No. Misses the stealth. Team Ares ends their turn. Checking the de-elevated assault team's zones. Deadpool, Cable, and Kitana have found Cable and Wolverine in Zone 19. From Zone 33 and 32 being present in those two zones. Wolverine will make a move. Wolverine is going to move 8, as it did on the minimap, to be here, and now is adjacent to zone 20, is adjacent to the ledge zone, which this could have seen regardless of being adjacent. It can also see zone 20 and 18. You can see zone 20 and 22. Though Wolverine is adjacent to zone 17 and 18, as well as 21, this is decided that, with the exception of the edges, the edge zones of elevated terrain, that characters on a lower terrain should not be able to see characters on the elevated terrain, which means that the only edge zone that Wolverine can see is that Wolverine is purportedly and purportedly and surreptitiously, how deliciously and furtively adjacent to zone 21. And that is where Cable is, and we've not found anyone new. That is Wolverine's. Deadpool will fire upon Cable. Does this have energy explosion? It does not have energy explosion. Yeah. 6. That's 17. Cable has 17 with toughness. How much damage? 4 damage. You have toughness. I'll give you 4. We have probability control. Yeah. You take 3 of the 4. Let's charge now. The close combat expert. Deadpool will get this. Spider-Man will make a move. Spider-Man will use the move and attack ability described and referred to in Spider-Man's special speed power. Move 3, and can ignore characters from the improved movement. Once he ignores elevation for movement purposes, but not line of sight purposes, which means that he does not necessarily, he won't see anyone that we couldn't see in zone either 21 or 19, or in this case in zone 19. He wouldn't find anyone new that Wolverine hasn't already found. In zone 21, he wouldn't find anyone in zone 21 that Wolverine hasn't already found. And now, moving here, or since we're using the hypersonic, do this on the board. Spider-Man moved that 4th square, and then found Ares, just where you'd expect him. There. Found Coldcast over here. And found the other Spider-Man. So that's where you people went. Oh, you sneaky people, you. Coldcast is actually over here. And now Spider-Man can complete that move. He can move 2 more over here and make the ranged combat attack from there. I'm giving them the wrong colored tokens. These are your tokens. That's your token. Go dark for the opposing team. Since you got this action token from the opposing team, give you the opposing team's action tokens. And Spider-Man will now use Incapacitate on both Cable and Spider-Man. What? Hey! On myself? No. You were talking about me. That's right. Take that, other Spider-Man. 6 plus 11, that's 17. 18, missed by 1. That's a tough Spider-Man. If only Cable were here. Cable has probability control. Cable will make a move. Does that require Cable to change any zones? He'll be moving into zone 33. Yes. Check. Zone 33 has already been checked this turn. Any other zones this has to check? I don't think so. Cable will make this move, not need to check any new zones. That Wolverine would have already checked. Cable will move. Can move 10. That's 5 running shot. Running shot here. Since he's on elevation, he's not going to close combat attack this person, nor will this base allow Cable to base this person, or result in us being based, both of us together, which would negate the ability to make a ranged combat attack. Cable will now ranged combat attack on Cable. Cable on Cable action. Who will win the franchise wars? Find out after the break. That was an 8. With 11, this suspects 19. That hits 19. 17, that's 4 damage on your toughness. You take 3. 18 defense, impervious. This is not supposed to know this, but right. Gave you 4. It wasn't penetrating, so you get 3 damage. And that's the click you end up. He has Outwit, so now I get to know what your powers are. You have 4 damage. You have 9 movement, hypersonic, 11 attack, penetrating psychic blast, 18 defense, with impervious and 4 damage with a special attack power that now gives you the flight ability, defend, barrier, and is there something else? Leadership. Leadership is the power that that character has from that special damage power. This doesn't like your this doesn't like hypersonic on you, and you have penetrating psychic blast. This likes that even less. But at least if you penetrate somebody, you will not be able to then hypersonic away if you don't have hypersonic, and everyone else can decimate you. This is outwitting your hypersonic, and this has probability control. That might help to negate being destroyed, obliterated, from becoming the revolting slob is essentially what this is attempting to avert. Kitana will clear, and that is the end of the de-escalated assault team's turn. Team Ares' turn. Kitana is still visible on our map due to the well-placed spider tracers. Checking all of the zones for all of the characters on this team. The mighty Wolverine can see Cable, Kitana, though Kitana is visible regardless due to the spider tracer and Spider-Man still being on the map, and Deadpool in zone 32, 33, and 1. Cable can also see zone 5 with Spider-Man and Wolverine in it. Found that, oh, that Wolverine dog of mine. Oh, yeah. Cable has lost stealth, has hypersonic now, has defend. Wolverine has stealth. This is decided that Wolverine's stealth, that the nature of the dark Asgardian magic that transforms Wolverine into its mighty counterpart, the mighty counterpart Wolverine, is in a way like perhaps the mask, the super soldier serum, the mask effect that increases or amplifies the characteristics that are there. And if then perhaps even though upon the card that refers to the character that is represented by this heroclix piece, it says stalking, tracking my target, which is something Wolverine might do regardless. This supposes that might be emphasized by the magic. It's not necessarily telepathic, which would imply that as opposed to Cable, who could elicit this effect at any time, he could be shooting you and be surrounded by you and then use wayward midichlorian-powered space wizard powers to... these are not the Cables, your techno-organic virus-infused future soldier you're looking for. Though Wolverine might not be able to do that, but still might be more effective than ordinary Wolverine, this is giving him a success rate of 4 through 6 as opposed to 5 through 6, though the mighty Wolverine must roll at the beginning of the turn. 3. That fails. Wolverine will make a move. Represent that move. Yeah. Wolverine's token. This announces to the opposing character itself that two of your characters are based. Spider-Man and Cable are both based. Cold Cast may now make a move. Cold Cast is sidestepping here for free. Obstructing the entrance. That way, if someone attempts to enter through that square, they will not be able to board. They will not be able to change their position by move action to being upon the elevated terrain without either knocking back or destroying, KOing that character. Cold Cast, Spider-Man, and Cable clear, and that is the end of their turn. The de-elevated opposing assault team's turn. Checking the zones that they can see, that all the characters of this team may inspect in for opposing characters. Holy Roman Jehoshaphat! Jehoshaphat, who is an inebriated degenerate. This has been based by Wolverine. Cable will roll... This suspects Cable has leadership. Cable will roll TK on Wolverine. 8. And 19. That hits. Wolverine's 17. No opposing character that... This suspects no opposing character in this game, let alone that can draw a line of fire and target Cable, has probability control. And this succeeds and may now place Wolverine here. Cable's second action. This could outwit this. This does not need to outwit his defenses for this might outwit that close exploit weakness. If Kitana can pull this off, Kitana might be able to eliminate that exploit weakness instead of Cable having to use outwit, instead of using it on the other Cable up there with penetrating psychic blast, which this is allowed to know as a result that Cable has outwit, and that Cable is within the range of heroclix. This is decided for that Cable to target it, despite being upon an elevated terrain. Kitana, are there any powers this can use to assist? Kitana will now charge, making sure to be visible to Cable. Charge, exploit weakness, blades, claws, fangs. And Cable has probability control. Go! 8 again. 8 plus 10, 18. That hits with 1 more than necessary, 1 more than required. And blades, claws. 5! That's a powerful blades, claws roll. And that's penetrating, exploit weakness, using Omaiwa. Stop click. It was a stop click and stealth now. Stop click. Where were it placed here? Stop click, stealth, dangerous. Deadpool can fire on Cable. Or perhaps Deadpool should running shot and finish off Wolverine. Wolverine can heal. He has a stop click, and that stop click has regeneration. And he has stealth, which means that Wolverine could disappear, then heal, and it's not a once per game effect. It has a once per game effect, though that is for morphing or exchanging that character for another character. If he heals, he can use that stop click again. They should have Deadpool roll on in, though this won't get probability control regardless. Kitana and Wolverine are now blocking Cable's ability to target Deadpool with probability control as a result of the positioning and the implications of the line of fire and matrices raise straight lines, though dubious in a universe of approximately 1.25 GeV. What is a straight line? Is there a geometrical precedent of progression? This neglects to be. You can never be too bad. Firing upon the chaotic turbulence of the cosmos, Wolverine. 11 powerful, masterful strikes with pineapples. The Kuri to main. You have so many holes, they are riddled with you. That's 4 damage. You have only regeneration. That's no more. Wolverine has not been able to mitigate or reduce any damage this game. Wolverine is KO'd. Like a reactor strain of oxygen, let me phagocyte tells ya. Wolverine gets another token. It says when a friendly character is KO'd, Steppenwolf is to reduce a despair token. He does not have any despair tokens. In order to get despair tokens, he must, or a friendly character must KO the highest point opposing character. This is going to declare that does not change to -1. If there are no despair tokens, their team will not reduce the despair tokens beneath 1. This also neglects that they are able to see cold cast in zone 19 from zone 32. Wolverine is making a move. Wolverine changed from zone 5, 6, and 7, and entered zone 18 and 17, and found Ares here, and is now based with Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man! Cable outwits, cold casts sidestep. Spider-Man clears. We have gathered here to mourn the loss of our fledgling comrade, Mighty Wolfhound. Don't we have a battle to fight? I've got a couple in my sights. I'll whip them up for you. Cable is able to see Spider-Man in zone 33, here next to the traced katana. Able to see the other Cable in zone 33 also, as well as in zone 32. Deadpool in zone 32 as well. And last but not least, Wolverine in zone 18 and 17 and 21. Spider-Man will now roll Hypersonic Breakaway for his special speed power. Gets it with 6. And Spider-Man will now roll an attack on Wolverine. Super strength 11 plus 11, 22. Batten 1012. That's 3 damage. He has toughness. Wolverine will take 2. Wolverine has sidestep now. Spider-Man will now make the move action portion of the hypersonic. Spider-Man will now complete that action, moving 7 here. There are 2 objects. This is a heavy object, this is another heavy object, and is also a car. Cold Cast's sidestep is countered, though the TK is not. Cold Cast will now TK place Ares adjacent to Wolverine. Place Ares there. Cold Cast will receive. That is not the cover that this profiles for this. Ares demands that all action tokens be blood red. Taste the ephemeral spark of the divine by blood, red cord transmission, looking battle fluid, blood material, refined from the earth by the power and discipline of the mind, and moved to a position accumulating upon the surfaces of or saturating throughout the interior volumes of other materials for cosmetic purpose. Mesospheres. Be somebody! I'm about to stab you now. Time for Ares to use exploit weakness, blades, claws, fangs on Wolverine. 9. And now it's time for the blades, claws roll. Exploit. Does that hit you? What is Steppenwolf's attack? 11 attack. 9, that's 8, that's 20. Rolling the blades claws. 4. I'm gonna roll. Rock and roll. It's going to be 4 damage. You have toughness. Take 3. Last click. Cable will fire on what is Deadpool's defense. This has penetrating psychic blast, and therefore, seeing as that both Deadpool and Cable have armors that reduce, it is irrelevant. They have the same defense value also. This shall attack Cable with penetrating psychic blast hypersonic, performing the ranged combat attack. 4. That misses. 15. That misses. This shall complete. This shall use the rest of the hypersonic. 9. Here then. Now, even if he has 5 charge, he still won't be able to get this person. And that is 7. Team Ares ends their turn. Checking the zones for all the characters that are a part of the de-elevated assault team's turn. That is the Mighty Wolverine on the Death Stool. It's a deep, rich, almost the modern crystal bed Manchunian dark chaotic magic low growly reminder that Wolverine died tonight. Wolverine may detect Ares in zone 18 as well as 17, Cold Cast in zone 17 and 19, as well as Cable in zone 17. There, Cable can perceive Cold Cast. Kitana and Deadpool can also perceive Cold Cast. Wolverine is still inert and enervated. At the beginning of the turn, Wolverine may use Regeneration as a free action, or at least that is what the text upon Wolverine's card indicates. Rolling free Regeneration. 5. Wolverine will regenerate. 3. Now has Sidestep. Wolverine will roll free Sidestep Breakaway. 2. Does not succeed. Spider-Man shall move. Move and attack. 3. -1 to the attack. It was 11. What was 11 is now 10. 10 attack on your 19 defense. Holy crud. 5. 6. Not 5. 16 is 19. That misses. This moved 3 out of the 11 movement he has. Quite agile and with great alacrity, adroitness, swiftness, and perseverance, tenacity, to drive. Will use the remainder. The 8 movement he has. Retreat back a little further. That guy has hypersonic with 9. Maybe be outside or hide behind this thing so the Cable doesn't shoot me. 4. Back over there. This is Spider-Man's action token. Wolverine clears. Cable clears. Deadpool clears. Katana clears. Spider-Man doesn't, and that mighty Wolverine is gone. Stranglehold, a stronghold, von Jorgen von Lucia von Bombardus, Yoriston Seekors, the Yahoo. The elevated team's turn, semi-elevated team's turn. Checking the zones for all the characters that they can see. Katana is traced and therefore still shows up on our minimap. Cable outwits, cold casts, sidestep. And ends their turn. Ares perceives Wolverine in zone 17 and in zone 18. Coldcast can... Ares perceives Wolverine in zone 17 and 18. Coldcast can perceive Cable, Katana, and Deadpool. Is that all of them? Spider-Man. Spider-Man, don't see Spider-Man. The beginning of the Coldcast sidestep is countered. Cable can use defend, though they have the same defense value and they're on different elevations. In that case, and leadership only works with adjacent characters. We are all clearing. At the beginning of their turn, we're going to check, this is going to check all of their zones to inspect for potential shenanigans. Upon desultory or otherwise cursory inspection, Curia Kua. This is determined that Wolverine is able to perceive Ares in Zone 18 as well as in Zone 17 and can also perceive Cable in Zone 17 as well as Coldcast in Zone 17 and in Zone 19. Coldcast is in both Zone 19 and 17. And Cable can perceive Coldcast in Zone 19. Katana can also perceive Coldcast And Deadpool can also perceive cold cast. And if we could Wolverine. Cable will TK Kitana. Kitana will be here now. Up on the ledge. You get that. Outwitting Cable's outwitting Coldcast sidestep again. And Kitana could attack Ares. Choose between the highest point character on this team is Cable. Kitana has 8 movement. Kitana cannot charge far enough to reach Cable. For now, it's going to attack Ares. Kitana will attack Ares. Kitana will charge. Move 4. Cannot ignore hindering terrain. Charge here. And we'll roll the attack. Blade's Claws exploit weakness. Ares has invincible. 6. 16. That does not hit 19. Wolverine is rolling free sidestep breakaway. 6. Gets it. Wolverine is moving 2 over here. And attacking Ares. Rolling that Blade's Claws, Battle Fury. That character doesn't have shape change, this suspects. 10 on your 19. 8. That's 8. That's 18. That misses by 1. Oh, how unfortunate. Deadpool will make a move. Deadpool, if you went on ennui, it was here. That is from there. You should be able to attack Coldcast. 8 away. Range is 8, yes. Range is 8. Attacking Coldcast. 3. Probably misses even Coldcast. It's 11 attack plus 3, 14, 17. That misses Coldcast. Spider-Man clears. And the de-elevated, partially elevated assault team ends their turn. At the beginning of the turn, Kitana is still visible due to Spider Tracer. Spider-Man needs to hit more people than Tracer. That man. Upon reoccurring or insular desultory observation, cursory glance, this is decided that may not be necessary. Checking all of the zones inspecting all of the zones for opposing characters that the characters that are part of this team can see. Wolverine is Ares, Cable, and Coldcast can perceive Wolverine in Zone 17. Coldcast can see into Zone 18 and would also be able to see Wolverine, as well as Kitana in Zone 18, as well as in Zone 17. Cable can see Zone 17. Kitana is visible due to the tracers. Coldcast can see Cable. Coldcast can see Deadpool. Ares shall roll a close combat attack using Exploit Weakness and Blade's Claws Fangs. 8. 8. That is 19. Hits a 19. Wolverine's defense. 16 with close combat reflexes. 18. It hits with 1 more than required. That's Ares' token. Now for Exploit Weakness, Blade's Claws. 2. That's not. Does anyone have probability control? Not on this team, and not that can prob. It's penetrating at least. No toughness, and he's got that power. Bloody power. Can Coldcast shoot somebody? Cable will fire upon Kitana the one spider-traced character. Or perhaps this should finish Wolverine. Kitana is a greater threat to Cable than anyone else. Perhaps Cable should probably do something about that. Cable will make a ranged combat attack. Penetrating Psychic Blast on Wolverine's defenses. 5. 5 plus 11. 11 penetrating Psychic Blast for 4 damage. 5, that's hit 16. He's got 16, and that's special defense power, 4 penetrating damage, negating your toughness. Only required 2 out of the 4. The other Wolverine is down. Spider-Man Coldcast could make an attack on Kitana, then would not be able to TK. This intends to TK Ares away if Spider-Man will